Friendly Gus has everything you need this football season. From our everyday value items like a fish pork chop, 3-piece dark or 2-piece white meat snack for just $5.50. Friendly Gus caters. Order one of our 20, 40, or 60-piece chicken finger or wing platters. And don't forget the tater logs. Friendly Gus is your one-stop shop for tailgating parties. Our food is always fresh and our service is always friendly. Friendly Gus with locations throughout Middle Georgia. Shop Cochran Brothers Cash and Carry at 320 South Jefferson Street for additional tailgate items like paper products, chicken wings, bulk drinks, spices, sauces, and more.
Hey, I'm Tom Dominy with Dublin with Nelson, and we're a full-service wholesaler specializing in plumbing, irrigation, and industrial products. We are committed to building long-term relationships with our customers by earning your business every day. With a staff that collectively offers more than 50 years of expertise, our team knows your industry and is able to answer your questions and is ready to help you get the parts and equipment you need. At Dublin with Nelson, our goal is the long-term success of your business. We achieve that goal with a simple commitment to doing things right, one customer at a time. So come by and see us at Dublin with Nelson, 507 Airport Road, or give us a call at 478-272-3585, or stop by and see our website at dublinwithnelson.com.
Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Dublin High Coaches Show. I'm here pandemic quarantined with head coach and athletic director of Dublin High School, Roger Holmes. Coach, we've been through this together. We've been through some really good times, and we've been through some rough patches, and this is going to be another one of those rough patches. Looks like. Got all the players in quarantine. We've had to not play a game this week, and I don't know about next week. But tell us a lot of speculation, a lot of talk in the community about, hey, can we play next week? Can we play the week after? How many of the guys are in quarantine? And so, best way to go is just go right to the heart of the matter and to the man that knows the answers, and he'll give us what he knows and what he doesn't. He'll tell us that too. So, Coach, how was it when you got the call, and who'd you get the call from? I guess it was Thursday night or Friday morning, and how did that really make you feel, and how'd you tell your team?
Well, actually, I was with our booster club president down on the football field last Friday morning, and we were looking at some things on the scoreboard, talking about our advertising and those type things. And I get a phone call from the superintendent, Dr. Williams, and he asked me to come to the board office, and he said, Coach, bring all of your sign-in sheets and paperwork with you that we monitor and keep up with on a daily basis. So I knew at that time that if I was bringing all of my documentation with me, that we probably had someone who had tested positive. So when I got to the board office, it was about 9:30, 9:45 last Friday morning. The individual that was that had tested positive through the health department, their results had come back. And we received those, obviously, on Friday morning. Now, how this works is, number one, now that there's been a positive within an organization, a group of people or whatever, at that time, the health department starts doing contact tracing. And that's where they keep up with all of and the reason we have to document where we are, when we're there, who's there, the questions that are asked when the players arrive, the temperature checks. For example, even when we went and played at Dodge County on the previous Friday night, you check the players in, you do temperature checks and all that before you get on the bus. And then you have to check all the temperatures and everything when you get off the bus.
You've got 59 players and all those coaches, and then Dodge also with about the same number. A lot to keep up with.
Well, it is. And, the young man that tested positive was not with us at practice all last week. Now, he had been not feeling well, and he was told to stay home and go to the doctor and get checked. And that's what he did. So it took a period of time for those results to come back. Now, the fact that the last time that our football team was with that individual would have been the Friday night when we played Dodge County. So then they start saying, okay, coach, who can you eliminate through all of this from contact tracing that could not been around that individual for up to 15 minutes? Well, that's almost impossible to do because, number one, now we have seating charts and know everybody that's on every bus, but then you go into the locker room. Well, you're not sure who might have been sitting next to who because that doesn't have a seating chart.
Who's riding home with who? And
you have the kids moving up and down the sideline during the course of the game. So at which time, then we were told by the local health department that we needed to quarantine the whole football team for 14 days. That date was backed up to the Friday night, the 11th, which was the last time that these individuals, our rest of our team, were in contact with the person who had tested positive. So you have a 14-day quarantine, which runs us up to the 25th. Although we found out last Friday, because the last time they were with this particular positive test was on the 11th, that's when our quarantine starts, unless someone else within this club and organization tests positive during that 14 days. Right?
When did you advise? When did you meet with your team, and how did you tell them, and how did they take it?
Well, unfortunately, or however, I have not been able to, quote, meet with my football team because it was early Friday morning, because it was an open date week. We were unable to meet with them. Now, it's funny, Dr. Williams, in our conversation with the health department, one of the questions then came out, was this young man a player? Was he active in the game? And yes, he was. At which time, then they had to turn around and call Dodge County because all of their players that played within that game could have been contaminated. And they had to turn around, and not only did they lose, they had to cancel their game with West Lawrence last week and their game with Fitzgerald this week because that was in their 14-day window. So it not only affected us, it affected Dodge, then it affected West Lawrence because they didn't get to play their game last week. And, as we're having this conversation, I think it was within about 5 minutes, Dr. Williams made a phone call to a gentleman in Gainesville who already knew what our circumstance was in Gainesville within 5 minutes. Now, obviously, we wanted to get the word out as quickly as we possibly could. Mr. Holcomb, our
IT director,
public relations director, media relations director, he put it out on social media, and from that point, it starts spreading like wildfire. The reality is there are no secrets out there anymore with social media. So at that point in time, we were able to reach out to all of our players via email, text messages, Remind 101, and all those types of things, and let them know that we did have a positive. It's very important that you follow HIPAA and you don't be putting names out of individuals who may have tested that way. And we've been very guarded against that, because the reality of it is now, it's not like any of us are out there trying to spread COVID-19, and we can be as careful as we want to be, and you can possibly get it. So it's not something for anybody to be ashamed of that they tested positive, and that's the most important thing.
No, it's a highly contagious virus, and from what we understand, it does affect younger individuals, maybe not as bad as folks our age, Coach.
Well, there's no question about that, but at the end of the day, you have to follow the safety protocols. You know, we've talked already about at times about what's important and doing our part, as coaches, and wearing your mask when you're out in public and washing your hands and doing all those type things. So anyway, at the end of the day, our football team now is quarantined, until the 25th, which is this Friday. Georgia High School has a rule that you have to go through 5 days of reacclimation up till September 30th. After September 30th, if you get popped, you don't have to go back through the reacclimation. So
that's another deadline. We just didn't quite.
We didn't quite meet the other deadline.
Right.
So
yeah.
What will happen is they do have a thing in where you can virtually, like we're doing right now, get all your players online, and the last day you're quarantined, which is Friday, you can do a virtual training session where there will be some running involved and some different exercises and all that to get day one out of the way. Then we will turn around and we will practice on Saturday morning. We will practice Sunday, from 2 to 5, trying to make sure that we're doing this where our kids can get to church. They can go back to church in the evening. Then Monday and Tuesday we'll finish our 5 days of quarantine. So you could then play on day 6, which that would be Wednesday. But what we're trying to do is we have a JV game scheduled for Thursday. So if we can get those days in, then our JV kids won't lose a game.
Well, I think it's important for the younger kids that you're teaching also to be able to play their games.
Well, they want to play. They put a lot of effort and time into it. I had a mom call me. She was upset that it's messing with their plans on the weekends. And I understand that. It messes with everybody's plans, but I feel an obligation as the head football coach to do everything that I can for the football team to help them be prepared, to give them a chance to play. And that's exactly how we've set these plans out. I don't like trying to come together and do on the field football stuff on Sundays. Our policy's always been we bring the kids on Sundays in to watch film, but it's not mandatory that they do that. But we are going to have to practice this week, and it's to allow them to be able to get to play a game on Thursday under the rules and restrictions that we're under. Now, so that kind of explains where we are here. What I've spent the last couple of days doing is we've been involved in our region meetings and how are we going to handle this. And when we met yesterday, I was the only one being faced with this because our Wheeler County game, which was supposed to be on Friday night, was not going to be able to be played. So how are you going to make it up? When are you going to make it up, and this and that?
We'll take a break and have a word from our sponsors.
Matt Hatchett, your District 150 representative for Lawrence, Truitland, and Johnson counties, is proud to support our local high schools, our East Lawrence Falcons, Trinity Crusaders, the Dublin High Fighting Irish, the West Lawrence Raiders, the Truitland County Vikings, and the Johnson County Trojans. Matt Hatchett, your District 150 representatives. Go team!
When it comes to handheld power tools, there's no better name than Echo. From our consumer grade to professional blowers, we've got what you're looking for. We have hedge trimmers, string trimmers, and pole pruners to cut any job down to size. And Echo's battery-powered equipment gives you gas-like performance without the hassle. So come see us at Myers Equipment and Supply, 301 North Jefferson in Dublin.
It's nothing personal. It's just business.
Hello?
That's how some people do things.
Right away.
To us, everything we do is personal. Because anyone can answer the call. It's who shows up that matters most. That's the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them.
Ask Curry Maffett Insurance in Dublin if auto owners make sense for you.
I'm Don Carswell with Dublin Chevrolet. Middle Georgia, the wait is over.
New Chevys are on our lot and the selection is amazing.
This Equinox LS is only $23,996.
Call, click, or come see us.
Dublin Chevrolet, the only dealer you'll ever need.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
Let me ask you a question. If you can't make that game up and there are different wins and losses on a region schedule, how does that affect playoff 1 through 4 spots?
That's where we're headed. Well, I can tell you yesterday, there wasn't a whole lot of love because there was one team infected, okay, or being affected. Last night when I got home, I got a phone call from the coach at Dooley County. Dooley County had 2 kids test positive, and now they're on a 14-day quarantine. I got a phone call this morning that Wheeler County now had a young man who has tested positive, and there was a player that was sent home yesterday with symptoms. So they do not know, as we're speaking right now, whether they're going on a 14-day quarantine. So we've had another 2-hour meeting this morning within the region. So it's what we're trying to do, and what we've got set up right now is if you get quarantined and are not allowed to, quote, play a game, you're going to be bound by our region rules to make that up at the first available. If for whatever reason, which is not very often that can happen the way our region's set up, if both of you had the same Friday night open, you could play the game then. If not, makeup region games are going to have to be played on a Tuesday. So what does that mean? Your Friday night game previous is going to have to be moved to Thursday. Your makeup game would be the first available Tuesday, and then whoever you played on Friday is going to have to be pushed to Saturday. So you could essentially play a Thursday, a Tuesday, and a Saturday in order to make up a game that you missed. Now, the next scenario for us, and this is where I keep, people say, well, give me the answers. Well, here's the problems. All right, number one, you remember we had to move Swainsboro in on October the 2nd because Northeast did not know whether they were even going to let them play in Macon, especially early in the season when our game was scheduled. So we had to drop that one. and schedule Swainsboro. We have a contract with them. So it just so happens if Wheeler does not get quarantined, they do not have a game because of Dooley getting quarantined. We could actually play next Friday night against Wheeler County. That means I have to cancel my game with Swainsboro, which is a non-region game. And
But you're under a contract.
According to Georgia High School, because we're under contract, if Swainsboro is not willing to void the contract, in other words, they can't find somebody else to play, then we have to play them or pay a substantial fine for violating a contract. Now, in the meantime, where we stand right now, and all this is confusing, I'm telling you, I've got a headache from it. If Wheeler calls me back this afternoon and says, okay, they've quarantined us, Swainsboro game is on, we'll have to stick the Wheeler game in on a Tuesday, which is going to move a game to a Thursday and another game to a Saturday. Okay. If Wheeler calls me back and says, we're quarantined, we'll still play Swainsboro. Swainsboro has since reached back to me and said, all right, we have found someone to play if you need to play Wheeler on this night. So we're still waiting to find out from other people what their situation is. And it's complicated. It's not as easy as it sounds. Our region, we're looking at playing any game that you don't get to play. On the Monday night when people normally do the mini playing games.
Right.
Any game that you were not able to play would have to be made up in that short mini game on Monday to be able to declare your playoff positions.
Well, it looks like Jason Holcomb, our technical IT guy, could be real busy rearranging schedules and putting them out on social media for everybody to see in the future. I can really see this coming.
Well, you know, the reality of it is, man, is everybody now realizes how quickly it can fall in your lap. As I mentioned Monday when we met, the only person that was against the wall was me. By the time we got together and met Tuesday morning, now 3 of the 9 teams were against the wall. And so, you know, you've got to feel as I mentioned and said with the rest of the coaches today in our region meeting, if we're trying to look for an advantage in how we're going to play somebody or when we're going to play them, we're not handling this the right way. There are no advantages.
It's not there anymore.
You don't know when it's going to hit you. You don't know if you're going to have to play the 3 best teams in a row in the region on Thursday, Monday, and Saturday. 3 of the best teams in 10 days. It is what it is, and we just got to roll up our sleeves and play this schedule out as best as we can make it happen. Now, here's the next example. What if you test positive with COVID and go on a 14-day quarantine, which is the last week of the regular season, which now means you might be the region champion, but you're going to be quarantined when the first round of the state playoffs come. So we made the decision, if a team is that way, we will simply move up because we want our region to send 4 teams to the state playoffs. And you don't, there's no real advantages. You just got to go give these kids the opportunity to play their games, best man win, and move on. And in reality, that's what it's always about. It's about giving them the opportunity to be paid for their hard work. And we talk to our players all the time. Their payday is Friday night, a chance to go play in a game.
Well, Coach, I would think that having to play a lot of these games, maybe in a very short time frame, we may have some type of advantage over that due to your coaching staff and the continuity that you've had with your coaches and the number of years that you've had a lot of them on there. And I would think, you were saying there's no advantages, but there may be.
Well, I appreciate those comments, and I do have a tremendous staff, but we start breaking down film on Saturday and all day Sunday. And when we get back to practice on Monday, we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to give our players the game plan and the thought process and have them ready to play on Friday night. Well, if you move a game to Thursday, you've lost a day that your coaching staff is able to prepare your kids. Now you turn around, you play on Thursday, you now have to have your game plan in and ready to go and the ability to teach your players. And you've got Saturday, Sunday, and Monday because you're playing on Tuesday. You only have 3 days.
3 days.
And then you play that game and you come back, and now you have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you go play the game. So you're losing 2 days of preparation for your coaching staff and developing their game plan. You're losing 1 day on the field of preparation for getting that game plan exposed to your players. So although I appreciate your comment, I think playing 3 games in 10 days is really eliminating some of the ability of your coaching staff to have your players prepared.
There's no doubt about that, Coach. Absolutely no doubt. And I think it's going to come down to how resilient your players become over the next 3 months.
I'm Brad Grimes, and we invite you to join the winning team at the City of Dublin Natural Gas.
And we'll give you a free 40-gallon hot water heater.
Or a $400 rebate on a tankless hot water heater.
Get a $200 rebate on the natural gas furnace.
How about 0% financing for 60 months?
Plus, we'll make it easier and add it to your bill.
Take advantage of this incredible offer today.
With natural gas, you'll never run out of gas again. Natural gas is dependable.
Natural gas is half the price of electricity and half of the price of propane.
So stop wasting money today.
And call the City of Dublin Natural Gas today.
At 277-5048. That's 277-5048.
Join the winning team at City of Dublin Natural Gas.